Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay, so today we are going to be reading from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, entitled The Most Confidential Knowledge, and we are reading text number 34. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyajimam namaskuru mame vashyasi yuktaivam Atmanamat parayanaha Manmana bhavad bhakto Madhyajimam namaskuru Mame vashyasi yuktaivam Atmanamat parayanaha Manmana bhavad bhakto Madhyajimam namaskuru Mame vashyasi yuktaivam Atmanamat parayanaha Manmana bhavad bhakto Madhyajimam namaskuru Mame vashyasi yuktaivam Atmanamat parayana. Word for word translation. Matmana, always thinking of me. Bhava, become. Mat, my. Bhakta, devotee. Mat, my. Yaji, worshipper. Ma, unto me. Namaskuru, offer obeisances. Ma, unto me. Eva, completely. Eshyasi, you will come. Yuktva, being absorbed. Eva, thus. Atmana, your soul. Mat parayanaha, devoted to me. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Engage your mind always in thinking of me. Become my devotee. Offer obeisances to me and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. Please repeat after me. Engage your mind always in thinking of me. Become my devotee. Offer obeisances to me and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. Okay, please listen to the purport. In this verse, it is clearly indicated that Krishna consciousness is the only means of being delivered from the clutches of this contaminated material world. Sometimes, unscrupulous commentators distort the meaning of what is clearly stated here, that all devotional service should be offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. Unfortunately, unscrupulous commentators divert the minds of the reader to that which is not at all feasible. Such commentators do not know that there is no difference between Krishna's mind and Krishna. Krishna is not an ordinary human being. He is absolute truth. His body, his mind, and he himself are one and absolute. It is stated in the Kurma Purana, as it is quoted by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami in his Anuprashya comments on Chaitanya Charitamrita. Deva Dehi Vivedo Ayam Neshware Vidyate Pachit. This means that there is no difference in Krishna, the Supreme Lord, between himself and his body. But because the commentators do not know the science of Krishna, they hide Krishna and divide his personality from his mind or from his body. Although this is sheer ignorance of the science of Krishna, some men make profit out of misleading people. There are some who are demonic. They also think of Krishna, but enviously, just like King Kamsa, Krishna's uncle. He was also thinking of Krishna always, but he thought of Krishna as his enemy. He was always in anxiety, wondering when Krishna would come to kill him. That kind of thinking will not help us. One should be thinking of Krishna in devotional love. That is bhakti. One should cultivate the knowledge of Krishna continuously. What is a favorable cultivation? It is to learn from a bona fide teacher. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and we have several times explained that his body is not material, but it is eternal, blissful knowledge. This kind of talk about Krishna will help one become a devotee. Understanding Krishna otherwise, from the wrong source, will prove fruitless. One should therefore engage his mind in the eternal form, the primal form of Krishna, with conviction in his heart that Krishna is the Supreme. He should engage himself in worship. There are hundreds of thousands of temples in India and for the worship of Krishna, and devotional service is practiced there. When such practice is made, one has to offer obeisances to Krishna. One should lower his head before the deity and engage his mind, his body, his activities, everything. That will make one fully absorbed in Krishna without deviation. This will help one transfer to Krishna Loka. One should not be deviated by unscrupulous commentators. One must engage in the 9 different processes of devotional service, beginning with hearing and chanting about Krishna. Pure devotional service is the highest achievement of human society. The 7th and 8th chapters of Bhagavad Gita have explained pure devotional service to the Lord that is free from speculative knowledge, mystic yoga, and fruitive activities. Those who are not purely sanctified may be attracted by different features of the Lord, like the impersonal Brahma Jyoti and localized Paramatma. But a pure devotee directly takes to the service of the Supreme Lord. There is a beautiful poem about Krishna in which it is clearly stated that any person who is engaged in the worship of demigods is most unintelligent and cannot achieve at any time the supreme award of Krishna. The devotee, in the beginning, may sometimes fall from the standard, but still he should be considered superior to all other philosophers and yogis. One who always engages in Krishna consciousness should be understood to be a perfectly saintly person. His accidental non-devotional activities will diminish, and he will soon be situated without any doubt in complete perfection. The pure devotee has no actual chance to fall down, because the Supreme Godhead personally takes care of his pure devotees. Therefore, the intelligent person should take directly to the process of Krishna consciousness and happily live in this material world. He will eventually receive the supreme award of Krishna. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purports to the 9th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of the most confidential knowledge. Om Agyana Timandasya Jananja Shalakaya Chakshuru Shri Chaitanya Mano Vishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamuyam Dadati Swapadantikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosude Tapta Kanchana Gora Kesha Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Mevacha Patitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Saraswati Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay. Manmana Bhavad Bhakto Madhya Jimam Namaskuru Mam Eva Shasi Yuktaivam Atmana Madparaya Naha. So engage your mind always in thinking of me, become my devotee, offer obeisances to me and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. So now this verse is known as the essence of the essence of the essence of the essence. 4 essences. It is the essence of the essence of the essence of the essence. So how do we understand this? So the first essence means that this Gita is the essence of all the Upanishads. There are 108 Upanishads, and the essence of all the Upanishads and all the Vedic knowledge is in the Bhagavad Gita. So there is this one shlok in Gita Mahatmya, number 6. So there's this one shlok in Gita Mahatmya number 6. Sarva Panishido Gavo Dhogda Gopala Nandana Partha Vatsa Sudhir Pokta Dhogdam Gita Vritam Mahat. It means that the Gita Upanishad or Bhagavad Gita, the essence of all the Upanishads, is just like a cow, and Lord Krishna, who is famous as a coward boy, is milking this cow. Arjuna is just like a calf, and learned scholars and pure devotees are to drink the nectarian milk of the Bhagavad Gita. So the Gita Mahatmya says that the Gita is the essence of all Vedic knowledge. So that's the first essence. What is the second essence? Now, the second essence is that the Bhagavad Gita is already the cream, but there is a cream of the cream. So the Bhagavad Gita is divided into 3 sections: the Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and Jnana Yoga. And the Bhakti Yoga are the middle 6 chapters, from chapter 7 all the way to chapter 12. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So these are the 6 cream of the cream. They are directly relating to Bhakti Yoga, which is the highest yoga. And now the third essence. Now the third essence is that we have the 6 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita. Now in the 6 chapters, the middle chapter is the 9th and 10th chapter. Or the main is the 9th, which means the most confidential knowledge. Krishna has entitled this as the most confidential knowledge. So it's already the most confidential. And even in this chapter, the last shlok, which is 9.34, is a topmost shlok, because it is a direct call to perform devotional service. Krishna is telling us, all of us, to do devotional service. So this is why this shlok is the essence of the essence of the essence of the essence. 4 essences. And it is so important that this same shloka is actually quoted again in the conclusion of the Bhagavad Gita in 1865. Again, Krishna repeats the same verse, 80% of it, in 18.65. So, just to have a bit of a recap, from 920 to 934, it shows the glories of the Bhakti Yoga process. So we can understand the glories of the Bhakti Yoga process through an acronym known as SETU. S-E-T-U. Now SETU in Sanskrit means a bridge. So Bhakti Yoga is the bridge between us all the way to Krishna. So this bridge is S-E-T-U. So the glories, the four main glories of the Bhakti Yoga process can be understood in this acronym. S-E-T-U. S stands for, it's simple. So Bhakti Yoga can be performed with the simplest of things, such as a fruit, a flower, a leaf, or even a little bit of water. Krishna says in 9.26 that if you offer these four things to me with devotion, that's what's needed. A heart full of devotion and desire to serve Krishna. If you have this, then even four basic things can be used to attract Krishna. So it is very simple. E means it's eternal. From 9.20 and 9.21, Krishna is saying that the people who worship demigods, they may attain the heavenly planets through fruitive activities or through the karma processes. But that result is temporary. And because this is temporary, once you have finished your bias credits in the heavenly planets, you're going to fall down back onto the earthly plane. So it is continuing your cycle of coming up and down, just like a Ferris wheel. But on the other hand, in 9.22, Krishna says that the people who take on Bhakti Yoga, the devotees who go on the path of Bhakti Yoga, they receive my personal protection. And He will protect whatever the devotees have, and He will provide for what the devotees lack. And we have already discussed certain stories of Yamanacharya in that shlok in 922. Then T stands for transformational. So Bhakti Yoga has enormous transformational potency. That even if one falls down or commits even the most abominable act, but still continues on the devotional path, he is to be considered saintly. So Bhakti never rejects anyone, nor does it disqualify anyone. It is very, very potent. It can deliver everyone. And finally which is universal. So the doors of Bhakti are open for everyone, as said in 9.30, that it is open for everyone, from women to Vaishyas to Shudras. They can all attain Krishna. What to speak of learned Brahmanas, saintly kings, and all these other people. So Bhakti Yoga can put someone from the lowest of the low and put him highest to the high. It is very important. So, Setu, simplicity, eternal, transformational, and universal. Bhakti Yoga is the Setu for us to get to Krishna. Now we're going to break down this shloka and understand the shloka as it is supposed to be understood. So Krishna says, Manmana means think of me. So he is saying to use your mind. But because we are conditioned living souls, we cannot really always think of Krishna. We might say to Krishna, oh, how can I think of you when I am so busy thinking about all my other duties? Like I've got so many other duties in this world that I don't even have time to think of you. So Krishna says, no worries. If you cannot do Manmana, then you go Bhava Mad Bhakto. You become my devotee. And now we can say that, oh, if I cannot even think of you, how can I become your devotee? How can I become your devotee? So Krishna says, no matter. Next, Madhyaji, worship me. Okay, you cannot think of me and you cannot become my devotee, then at least worship me. And worship me with how? With all your paraphernalia, with all these arti materials that we use to do worship. Use that and worship me. But somebody might say, oh, I don't even have the time nor the money to invest in getting this paraphernalia and also taking the time out in my day to just do arti 5 times a day. I cannot do that. So the Krishna says, okay, even if you cannot do Madhyaji, then do Mam Namaskuru. Just offer obeisances to me. And then that is free. You don't need anything. It's a 1 minute thing, you can just give your obeisances and that's it. Krishna is saying just do this much. And this is how it goes. If you just do this much, if you keep on doing obeisances, naturally you will want to start worshipping Krishna. And once you start worshipping Krishna, then you will want to become a devotee of Krishna. And once you're a devotee of Krishna, your mind is always absorbed in Krishna. So this is how Krishna has given a ladder. So people from the lowest consciousness, even up to the highest consciousness, can use this ladder and start from wherever they want and whatever the capability is, so that everyone can get elevated and become to a position of pure devotional service. So, and if you do this, if you do Manmana Bhavavat Bhakto Madhyaji Mam Namaskuru, if you do these 4 things, then what happens? And it says, Mam Evashisi, you will come back to me. How will I go back to Krishna? It says, Yukta Evam, means Yukta plus Evam. Like being engaged in these 4 processes, you will be absorbed in devotional service or in Krishna consciousness. And then what happens when all the 4 processes are followed? Then Atmana Vat Parayana. So what did we have? Manmana means at the mind level, at the mental level. Then Bhava Mat Bhakto means at the heart level, or at the senses level. Madhyaji and Mam Namaskuru. These 2 are at the bodily level. So we have the soul, we have the subtle body, and we have a gross body. By doing these 4 things, you are offering to Krishna your body, your subtle body, as well as your soul. So you are giving all 3 levels of your existence to Krishna. And this is the highest perfection of devotional service. So, and the Prabhupada says very clearly that Manmana, always think of me. But think of me how? He says we don't have to think of Krishna like how Kamsa did. Kamsa thought of Krishna 24/7. But he thought of Krishna as an enemy. We don't have to do that. We have to think of Krishna as our Supreme Lord and have a loving relationship with Krishna. So, it's important to think of Krishna in a devotional sense, not in a cold sense. And then Prabhupada also makes a very important point on unscrupulous commentators. So in this shlok, the word Mam meaning the first main pronoun, is being used 6 times. There is no more clarity anywhere else in any of the verses where Krishna is saying Mam, it's mine, it's me. There is no ambiguity what the shloka is trying to say. It is saying that you have to worship me. But then there are some commentators who say that no, you have to worship the unborn absolute inside Krishna. Now that is a gross misinterpretation of the science of Krishna, as Prabhupada was saying. We have 3 different levels of existence. Our spiritual self is different from our subtle and our gross. Our gross and subtle are material, and our soul is spiritual. But for Krishna, everything is spiritual. His body is Satchit Ananda. It is full of eternal knowledge and bliss. So there is no difference between Krishna's mind, or Krishna's name, or Krishna himself, there is no difference. It's all the same. It's all spiritual. So when Krishna says that you worship me, it means you worship him. You don't worship the unborn inside him. No, that is wrong. That is unscrupulous commentators projecting their contaminated consciousness onto Krishna by saying that, oh, just because I have this body, so does Krishna had a body, and his soul inside is different from his body. That is wrong. That is wrong understanding. That's why Prabhupada says this is unscrupulous commentators. And then finally, we have the 9 processes of devotional service. All these 9 processes of devotional service are explained in these 4 things that have been discussed in this verse. So the 9 processes are what? Hearing, which is Shravana, chanting, Kirtana, remembering, Vishnu Smarana, serving the Lord's lotus feet, Pada Sevana, deity worship, Archana, praying, Vandana, executing orders, Dasya, serving as a friend, Sakya, and complete surrender, Atma Nivedana. These 9 processes are just an expansion of these 4 items or these 4 processes that Krishna has said that by thinking of me, by devoting yourself to me, by worshipping me and giving your obeisances, these 4 things have been expanded into 9. And if we follow these 9 processes, then surely Krishna says that you will be completely absorbed in me, and then because you are completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. And that is the perfection of human life. So, any questions?
Now there is one message is circulated in the YouTube. In the Jagannath Puri, Krishna heart is transferring. From that time, that heart was still transferring in the Jagannath body. That's why everything goes, light, electricity goes. So all is a fake story. Because Krishna in the mind, Krishna body, Krishna heart is not different. So, no, that is called rituals of